Mindset AI presents
Operation Ashfall, the Null Relic.
The desert of Kharaset had once been an ocean. That much was undeniable. Fossilized wave crests lay locked beneath shifting dunes, their curves preserved in stone like frozen storms, and salt crystals glittered at dawn like shattered constellations. The wind carried a faint mineral tang that stung the nose and dried the throat, a reminder that water had ruled here once, long before memory learned to fear the sand. Now Kharaset was a place of death and wind, where nothing moved except dunes and the weight of what had been forgotten. The Concordance archaeological expedition had been dispatched to catalog ruins. Routine work, predictable, even dull. Old satellite scans hinted at pre-imperial structures buried deep beneath the desert crust, likely ceremonial or funerary, the sort of discovery that padded academic journals and justified funding renewals. But the desert had a way of rewarding patience with nightmares. The tomb was discovered on the 47th day. A sandstorm, violent even by Kharaset standards, scoured a collapsed ridge down to bedrock. When the winds finally died, technician Romeric stood staring at a shape that had not been there the night before.
Chief, you really need to see this.
Chief archaeologist Talaris Ven arrived minutes later, her boots sinking into freshly shifted sand. She froze. The doorway was wrong. It rose from the exposed rock like a scar in the world, smooth, seamless, spiraling inward in subtle fractal curves that refused to resolve no matter how long the eye followed them. There were no tool marks, no joints, no evidence of construction.
It looks grown.
The archaeologist replied.
Nothing grows like this, not even stone.
The scanners began to scream. Readings jittered, collapsed, reassembled into nonsense. Half the team complained of migraines within minutes. One xenogeologist vomited and had to be sedated. Dr. Halrix, the expedition's xenolinguist, added, rubbing her temples.
Chief, the geometry is interfering with pattern recognition centers in the brain. It's persuasive.
Persuasive how?
Like it wants to be understood, or doesn't want us to enter.
They entered anyway. Inside, the air was perfectly still. No dust, no echo, no sense of enclosure. Sound died unnaturally fast, as if absorbed by the walls themselves. At the center of the chamber stood the figure. It was nearly 3 meters tall, desiccated yet impossibly intact, wrapped in translucent bands of hardened resin, shot through with metallic veins that pulsed faintly under light. Its elongated skull was crowned by a corroded lattice of black alloy fused directly into bone, branching into delicate, thorn-like filaments. The eye sockets were empty, yet not hollow. Crystalline residue lined them, catching illumination and refracting it into colors no one could quite name. Someone uttered,
Is it watching us?
Chief Ven tried to assure the rest of her crew that the figure was not, but then added, almost speaking to herself.
I don't think it ever stopped.
The walls were covered in inscriptions, layered symbols, equations folded into sigils, recursive patterns etched so deeply they seemed structural. Halrix ran her scanner, then lowered it slowly.
These aren't prayers, neither are they stories. They are instructions.
What kind of instructions?
For containment.
Silence followed, at last broken by Chief Ven.
Whatever this is, it was never meant to be worshipped.
Halrix nodded with his eyes fixed on the figure, almost as if in a trance.
No, it was meant to be kept.
Against every instinct, Against every warning encoded in stone itself, the leader of the Concordance team authorized extraction. The tomb was resealed. The desert swallowed the entrance once more, as if relieved. The artifact, catalogued as Null Relic, was transported to Lyris Prime, home of the Concordance expedition and heart of galactic civilization. Floating cities drifted through layered skies, orbital rings burned with constant traffic, and billions lived secure in the belief that knowledge equaled control. The relic was placed in Vault 7, buried kilometers beneath the capital, wrapped in stasis fields, nullgrav chambers, and quantum dampeners layered like ritual wards disguised as science. Initial scans showed nothing. Research lead, Mira Solane, reported.
No active energy detected.
The medtech added.
No biological function recorded.
And security confirmed.
No radiation, no psionic bleed.
Congratulations, we found the most expensive paperweight in Concordance history.
For 6 months, the mummy did nothing. Then the dreams began. Technician, Joss Pell's hands shook around a cup of Stimcoff.
It's always the same, a sky that's burned black, and things moving underneath it, big things.
Solane frowned.
You know the psych protocols. Stress dreams are...
Pell interrupted her mid-sentence.
These aren't just stress dreams. They talk to me. They know my damn name.
Others reported the same. Vast plains of ash. Towering silhouettes beneath a ruined firmament. Voices whispering just beneath conscious thought.
We carried you once. We will carry you again.
Psych screenings showed elevated stress. Fatigue, but nothing actionable. On the 193rd day, a technician noticed condensation inside the relic's casing. Solane muttered, checking the readouts herself.
That's not possible. It can't be.
On day 194, internal temperature rose by exactly 0.03 degrees. Security assured everyone that it was nothing more than a sensor glitch. But on the 195th, the stasis field failed completely. The security footage lasted 12 seconds. The relic's eyes ignited with a dull inner glow. Resin bindings fractured like ice under pressure. The black lattice embedded in its skull pulsed, and emitted a signal that bypassed every known form of shielding. The first guard dropped without a sound. The second turned, convulsed violently, and began to scream.
Shut it down. Cut the damn feed. Cut the...
The footage ended. When reinforcements arrived, Vault 7 was empty, except for the guards. They stood upright, faces slack, veins blackened and branching beneath pale skin like invasive roots. Their mouths opened in perfect unison and let out a terrifying, blood-curdling cry. They attacked with deadly precision. None of the relief forces were left unharmed or free from the scourge that soon overtook them. The infection did not kill. It overpowered its victims. Higher cognitive functions collapsed within minutes, replaced by obedience to a shared directive broadcast from the relic itself. Bodies degraded slowly, reshaped by alien biochemistry into something both living and dead. Vocal cords warped, producing broken howls that echoed through corridors and streets. Civilian feeds named them before officials could. They called them Hellions. Quarantine failed immediately. The pathogen spread through touch, breath, and proximity. Worse, exposure triggered hallucinations, whispers promising relief, unity, purpose. Hospitals became slaughterhouses. transit hubs turned into feeding grounds. Emergency councils lasted hours before infection reached them too. The Relic was no longer a specimen. It was a command node. With civilization collapsing, the Concordance enacted its final protocol, Operation Ashfall. 3 warships descended from a launch vessel above the planet. The ships were the Vigilant Dawn, the Iron Resolve, and lastly the Saint Axiom. As they entered atmosphere, the planet answered. From ruined cities rose organic spires, fused bodies, alien matter, corrupted infrastructure, pulsing in rhythm with the Relic signal.
Energy spike! No! Amplification!
The sky tore open. The Vigilant Dawn vanished in white fire. The Iron Resolve unraveled silently, its hull peeling apart like wet tissue. Only the Saint Axiom survived, spiraling into the outskirts of the ruined capital. Commander Saris Vale steadied herself against the bulkhead.
All units stand by. Welcome to hell.
They found survivors, where fear bred ingenuity. These sheltered in sealed metro tunnels, forgotten sanctuaries, and data vaults older than the city itself. Fewer than 1,000 remained. The scientists worked without sleep.
Who built that tomb?
Dr. Solane looked hollow.
A civilization that met the Hellions before we even existed. And won? It seems doubtful. They merely endured.
Using forgotten infrastructure, the team reactivated an ancient transmission tower, primitive enough to operate outside modern bands. They were able to reach the command center on Chromia Prime, the new home of the Concordance since Lyra's collapse. When it activated, the whispers stopped. People screamed, not in terror, but relief. The outgoing message was brief.
Planet compromised. Evacuation required. Immediate.
Hours later, the reply arrived.
Evacuation approved. Planetary sterilization authorized.
This time the reaction from those who heard the transmission erupted with ecstatic shouts and joyful cries. As the last survivors boarded the rescue ships that had been deployed from the launch platform, the sky burned. From orbit, dreadnoughts unleashed nuclear fire. Continents cracked. Oceans boiled. Organic towers vaporized. The controlling signal screamed once, then fell silent. The planet Lyris died in fire that could be seen from Chromia Prime and mushroom clouds. From the observation deck, Commander Vale watched the world collapse into molten ruin. In the glass, for just a moment, she thought she saw something move behind her eyes. She turned away. Some warnings, she now understood, were never meant to be studied. They were meant to remain buried or to be destroyed before they could ever wake again. Later, as she slept, the commander thrashed about as if in a fever dream, during which she was certain she heard a voice that echoed.
We carried you once. We will carry you again.
If you enjoyed this tale, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It would mean the world to us.